Hey there, Gemini Sun, Gemini Moon, Gemini Rising. Happy birthday to you, Gemini Suns. This is Maggie from Moon Directed. Here we work with the energy of the moon to see how we can best utilize it to move our life forward in the most positive way possible. Today I have a channeled message for you, and then we are going to cover 2 weeks of Moon Astrology. I will timestamp them. You can watch them both now. You can come back and check out the second week later. It is May 25th through through May 31st for the first one, and the second one will be June 1st through the 7th. So I did channel a message for you, and a really great way to get messages that are more specific for you when I'm channeling. So go ahead and leave me a comment because I put you in my book. I have a book where I write down everybody's name, and when I'm channeling, oh my gosh, Spirit is here. When I am channeling, I get messages that are more likely for you because I'm focusing on it. Okay, so your channeled message. So what I saw was, have you ever seen the movie The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? Because it's the scene where the kids are running around the house, and the housekeeper is coming, and so they go and they hide in the wardrobe that Lucy told them was really magical, and that if you go back far enough, you end up in the magical woods of Narnia, and they all thought she was really interesting and storytelling and stuff. Well, anyways, they end up fighting their way back, and the next thing you know, they realize that they're not crunching on mothballs, but they're actually crunching on snow, and so they find the magical world that Lucy had told them about. So, first off, I want to say, look for some synchronicities in your life. Things that fall into place, things that, using your imagination. So that felt important. But I did... I wrote, stay open and flexible and use your imagination. Speak your truth. Lucy told them. She told them, right? So speak your truth. And if other people don't see it yet, I feel like they will. And so speaking your truth is very important. Follow the signs and the synchronicities and the opportunities that are presented to you. Also, use the resources at your disposal, because one of the things that really was always interesting to me was how, Susan's like, oh, wait, let's grab these coats before we go in there. Like, very practical Susan, right? And so she's like, let's get out. All right. Oh, my gosh, something I've never thought of before. I was thinking, oh, that was very Queen of Pentacles of her. And then I was thinking, oh, my gosh. Okay, so, like, Peter has all of the energy of, like... Lucy's a fire sign for sure. And I kind of feel like Edmund, he's kind of a water sign, and that Peter there, he's like an air sign, like, judgment and thinking and analyzing and stuff. So think of yourself as King Peter, right? So, all right. So that was what I saw. Wow, sorry. Just love that. So, here's what else I wrote. This is a time, because this is what I heard, okay? So it said, follow the signs and synchronicities. This is a time of self-empowerment. Trust your higher self. The Wheel of Fortune is turning in your favor if you are self-disciplined. If you're self-disciplined enough to nurture the seed of intention that you probably set, if you haven't, you still have time. You just had that that new moon that happened in your sign on Friday the 22nd, and in the North Node is now in Gemini. And so seeds of intention with new moons take about 18 months anyways, and the North Node, it takes like 18 months. And so there's all this extra energy of transforming your life with whatever it is you decide to do right now. So it's in your first house. So what do you want to do? If you haven't taken time to think about that, use your imagination. Look for the synchronicities. Look for the signs. Try to see what it is that you're going to nurture, because the Wheel of Fortune is now turning in your favor. And so, yeah, so if you haven't done that, do that. Now, that new moon happened in your house of you, and then in 2 weeks, at the end of this reading of next week, we have that full moon lunar eclipse happening in your house of relationship. And eclipses are about letting things go. But because it's a lunar eclipse, it's got to do with internally, what are you letting go? What's holding you back from having the kind of relationship that you want to have? Because it's in your house of relationships. So it's self-limiting ideas. It might be negative self-talk. It could be something like that. So that's something to keep in mind when we get to that. So let's go ahead and dive into what we have going on for this week. May 25th through May 25th through May 30th. And we start out the week with that moon in Gemini. I'm sorry, not Gemini. It's now moved into Cancer. And so, so there's this energy of wanting to speed things along that's going on right now. Like everybody wants to. We're in Gemini. The sun's in Gemini. You know how you want to do things. You want to get things done. You have all these ideas, this creation, this energy of curiosity and exploration. I mean, we have so many planets going retrograde. It feels like, oh my gosh, am I getting anywhere? And so I just want to encourage you to get comfortable with the idea that for like the next few months, actually, slow and steady wins the race. And so being able to get comfortable with the, I've never seen this one before. To get comfortable with movement forward is progress. Movement forward is progress. And so there's a choice. The answers that you seek are within you right now. And so it's an opportunity for you to look for the growth and for what brings in the self-love for yourself. Self-love for yourself. There's a little redundancy for you. Okay, so, and Gemini picked up on that right away too. Okay. Whew. Whenever I do your readings, I'm always like, your energy is something. Look at this, Rob, get back on task. Be sure you're using your time to the best possible manner. You might consider reviewing your goals and your schedule or a project you're working on. All could use some fine-tuning. That is that energy of the new moon. That is that energy of the new moon in your sign saying, okay, so where do you want to put the growth? How do you want to do something that you will love? Something that's important to you, that you're passionate about. And so you might want to consider reviewing your goals, your schedule, or a project you are working on. All could use some fine-tuning. So, all right then, Spirit. But I would like to encourage you to not let anxiety get to you, but instead be optimistic about it. So think of this as an opportunity to say, okay, wait, let me take a look at this and how can this work better and be more efficient and allow me more time for daydreaming. Because I don't think that I think part of the reason the whole world is shut down is that we had all gotten really, really busy and we forgot to pay attention to our daydreams. And I think this was an opportunity to really assess that. That's the whole world doing that. So the moon is going to move into Leo at 2:33 a.m. on Wednesday. It will come into opposition with Saturn over in Aquarius. Now Saturn likes boundaries. Aquarius likes sudden chaotic changes, and so it's kind of like pushing up against that boundaries of creativity. And how can you do that? And what can you do that is creative? And there's a sense of competition inside of yourself between what seems practical and what seems out of the box thinking, and what's the best way to nourish your life, to nourish this passionate idea, and the path forward to do that. And I say listen to your heart because you have the delight card. You have the delight card for your advice. I delight in everything in my world and divine joy fills me. So what nourishes your soul? So when you're getting back on this task and you're going through and you're eliminating things that don't work or fine-tuning or tweaking, keep in mind, they're not asking you to work harder. They're asking you to work smarter toward your happiness, toward what makes you feel with joy, and allowing yourself that playful time and that creative time to do the things that you want to do, to be who you are. So the moon is going to move. I want to back up for a second. I always forget. I almost missed this. We've got Mercury, who rules your sign, moving into Cancer on Thursday, the 28th, and it conjuncts the North Node there. And so your emotions might take a little bit of a hit that day, because we also have Venus in retrograde going on. But again, it's about listening to your intuition. So, and it's just a moment and it'll pass. And so, but I think an awareness of it, like recognizing that is going on, is always good. So when Mercury is in Cancer, when it's in your sign, an air sign, any of the air signs, it is speedy thought, lots of things going on. When it moves into Cancer, it's setting up to do a retrograde in a water sign too. It slows it down. It requires, it becomes more about intuition analyzing, and it becomes muddled, I think. So thinking clearly becomes more complicated. And so getting yourself back on task and having a plan so that when things get a little muddled, you can go, yeah, oh, but I have it written down here so I know what I'm supposed to do or where I'm going, or, having that roadmap in place. When we get to Friday, the moon is going to move into Virgo, and Virgo likes to analyze, right? And that's not fellow air sign, but it's ruled by Mercury. And so there's that analytic part of Mercury, but it's kind of being slowed down. But it is about assessing where you're going. It is the process of discernment and where we're headed and what it is we want to do. But see how she's kind of got that cloudy thinking going on? It's because part of the discernment process needs to happen in your heart, right? It can't be all up in your head. And so with Mercury in Cancer, that is just a reminder to really use your intuition. Now, my natal Mercury is in Cancer, and I find that using my intuition works way better when I'm making decisions than using facts and figures. I've done it both ways, and I'm always comfortable with the outcome when I've done it from the heart. Even though using my head might have made a different decision, I'm always more comfortable with that. And so it's something just to consider, because it gets a bad rap when it's in a water sign. Mercury does. All right, so the advice here for you is to become the true you. Show the world who you really are and what you were born to do. I think Taurus had that. Aries or Taurus did. You're only the third sign. I've already seen that today, but I think it was Taurus. So if Taurus is strong in your chart, something to consider. All right, so then on Saturday, there's a lot of high energy that day. So a lot of production can happen. There's a lot of potential to get things doing, to work on the plan. And then the moon is going to move on Sunday at 10:38 a.m. into your fellow air sign there in your home of fun and romance and creativity of Libra. And so this is an opportunity for building a partnership or finding the help where you need it, or setting the boundaries that you need to help you get to where you want to go. But I want you to understand there's going to be a sense of anxiety that could be in the air. And the skill required here is to say, wait, I'm not focusing on what I'm afraid of, because that's what I'm going to manifest. Whatever I focus on, I manifest, right? The magician always makes me think of Gemini. And so Gemini knows what above, so below. What I think about, I bring about. What I want to create, I can. And that energy there. So you letting go of your fears and being willing to let things go. So you have broken arrow, embrace energy of peace, and release the old and rest. And so these anxieties and these fears, the old paradigm, the old way of doing things, letting that stuff go, removing that from your life, allowing that to flow on through, will set you up for a better chance, a better shot at success here going forward, because now we're talking about, the ability to manifest where it is that you're focusing yourself on now, where it is that you want to go now. What do you want to create for yourself? So I'm going to go ahead and pick these up, because I'm going to start with the next week, and we'll get into what's going on that first week of June. Because we have coming up in that week that big old eclipse thing happening. So I'm going to ahead and pull these cards up here for that. And so we're going to cover now June 1st through the 7th. Understanding that we're working to release fears because they don't serve us. And instead, we're going to start thinking about, what did I do? Okay, this should be entertaining. I think I have things all messed up. All right. Oh, no, it's good. It's good. It's good. So, where are the healthy boundaries? When that moon moves into, on Sunday, when that moon moved into Libra, and you start with the partnership, and where are the boundaries, and what makes for a good partnership, and what am I releasing? What negative attitudes, or are you hanging on to irritations about things that don't serve you? How do you embrace the energy of peace? that you are being asked to do with the advice from the broken arrow there, you know, and so how do you want to manage that? And then on Tuesday, and I just really want to, like, if you're communicating from the heart, and you really should in matters about the heart, right? Not letting your head get too much into that space, but remembering that when it's about a relationship, about someone you care about, that when you're working from the space of the heart, it's really good to communicate what you really feel, you know, and be open to listening to what they really feel and doing a little reading between the lines on that. So on Tuesday, the moon is going to move into Scorpio at 12:06 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time here in the United States. And some of this heartfelt communication that you had Sunday and Monday should start to yield some results as far as insights coming to you. You might have an extreme emotional reaction. What triggered that? There's the insight, right? Maybe somebody said something and you were really listening, or you were reading between the lines and you're like, oh, now I get it. Now I know why you think that way. Now I know why you feel that way. Now I know why you do what you do. And so it's the insight, because a lot of times, you know, knowledge is power, right? And when we understand, I always believe that if you know the why, you can figure out what to do. And, you know, otherwise you're just, it's like when you go to the doctor and you have these symptoms and they're like, okay, well, here's what's wrong. And they try to fix it. So say you're having a hard time walking and they're like, oh, you're having a hard time walking. Here's some pain reliever. But they didn't do the x-ray to find out that you have a broken leg, and so they haven't set it. Now you're going to continue to have issues with that, right? And so it's not about treating the symptoms. It's about getting in there and figuring out, analyzing what is creating the situation. And that's where things really start to come into play. Well, you have, okay, hold on a second here. Ooh, okay. Wow, this is some interesting energy. All right, so we're going to talk about, with the moon in Scorpio in this position, it's about what's the passion too, right? It's a good time to get some things done to clear the air about an emotional issue, you know, and it's going to take some willpower to take down that mask and be willing to expose yourself to. So staying focused on what your goal is, which is the transforming of the situation, because we're coming up on this eclipse happening in your relationship house. And so doing the work before you get there by focusing on what it is that you really feel about something and how do you want to transform the situation is really important. And I can see that you are definitely spending some time thinking about what used to be. What was it like before? This is somebody really focusing on the memories. But what's interesting is the picture that they're focusing on. Oh, let me see if I can find it fast so you can see it nice and clear. This is somebody who is moving on. Like, they received a letter. They're either taking the letter to mail it, or they've received the letter. And it is like, it's a question about, do I stay or do I go? Is this a loved one coming back? Is this someone who says, okay, here's my love letter and here's my apology? I mean, she is moving in the direction that the geese are going. And so she's definitely moving in a direction that is divinely orchestrated, right? Innately orchestrated. And so there are some thoughts like, did you try something and it didn't work out? Or are you thinking, maybe I should try something and I hope it works out? Feels like a lot of that energy right there. We have, I'm going to look this one up in the book because I have not seen this card very often, but it looks like Spirit is pulling the strings and trying to help you to fly. That's what I see when I look at it. And this is lost in thoughts, journaling, daydreaming, thinking about what you want your future to be. I'm a big fan of that. I think this is perfectly what you are supposed to be doing at this time. So I support that wholeheartedly. But I want to see, this is number 49. I want to see 49. 4 plus 9. So that's a 4. It's about stability. It's about creating stability. It says, ooh, assistance and help. Yep. We have trained, we have studied, we have fallen and picked ourselves up to try again, and certainly progress has been made with each effort and each attempt, but sometimes, despite all we have to acknowledge that the reality is we can't do it entirely on our own. In this imagery, the white doves are visual metaphors for helping hands. The physical support they provide here might take the form of emotional encouragement, financial assistance, or expert advice based on knowledge or previous experience. The challenge now is to achieve a balance, to offer help, but not reliance. And so either you're being called on to assist somebody or someone is going to be helping to assist you. But honestly, when I see those doves, I feel like it's spirit trying to put you in the right place at the right time with the right people and the right opportunities to help you with whatever it is. And this, again, feels very relationship oriented because of where we're headed here with the eclipse this week. And so on Thursday, the moon does move into Sagittarius at 1:17 p.m. So you have a whole day because we don't have that lunar eclipse until 3:12 p.m. the following day. So you have half the day. You have 24 hours, I'm sorry, to be in that energy of figuring out what it is that you're releasing, the negative limiting factors on an emotional level. So either it's the way you talk about yourself or to yourself, or these unrealistic expectations or belief systems that were put in place by other people. Maybe as you're a child, you saw how your parents were and you think, oh my gosh, if that's how a relationship is, I don't really want one. Or you know, you grow up, you're going to be this and this and this and this and a person, and I expect you to act like this and this and this, and those voices in your head that maybe not resonate with who you really are, because it could be business or it could be emotional, right? It's partnership. It's a 7th house partnership. Could be business. So I don't want to lose sight of that. But it's about what do you really feel about it and what is it you're really trying to create, because there's so much power. There is this action power that comes with this eclipse to help you to blossom and to grow what it is that you really and truly want, and I want to tell you deserve. So what happens now is we get this sneak peek. You know, and it is about the emotions because we have the sun at the same time conjuncting with Venus. This is all happening at 15 degrees of Sagittarius. 15 degrees of any sign is very powerful. It's the letting go of this, and it's the moving toward that kind of energy. It's right there. It's hung in the balance. And so here's your chance with this eclipse to really let go of what doesn't work and start moving toward completion. It is not 29 degrees and 59 minutes. Okay, so there's still going to be this process of letting go, and you have 18 months because we have this axis of the North Node in Gemini and the South Node in Sagittarius. So the eclipses are going to happen a lot over the next 18 months. When we have eclipses, they will be happening in there, except for the next two, which are finishing up the Cancer Capricorn axis, and those are in the next month. So there is this real opportunity to release things, to let things go, to figure out where it is that you're going from here so that you can blossom and grow what your seeds of intention were that you plant with the new moon that happened on the 22nd. If you haven't done that yet, you still have time. I don't want to ever tell you you have to wait till the next new moon. No, Gemini. What do you want? You can create that right now. And there's this energy once we get through that of an opportunity to make some plans with clear-headed thinking, with your head above the emotional waters, which I'm sure you're excited to hear right now, about what it is that you're going to take responsibility for in your life that brings you pleasure and brings you joy. It is your job to fill up your own cup of joy. That's your job. Like nobody can fill your bucket for you. If you have a hole in it, plug your bucket. Love yourself up. Fill that thing up till it's overflowing and sloshing around a little bit when you walk. And then you will attract to you other people who have big buckets full of emotional joy too. And there's a sloshing around. And that's when you find that really balanced relationship. That's when you become equally yoked, right? Then you can both, help each other carry the water of your emotional. Okay, I have an image. All right, so here we go. Hold your vision. With this full moon, hold your vision for what it is you want. Don't allow yourself to slip into old patterns. This is about releasing and letting go of the negative patterns that are holding you back, the negative thought patterns, the negative whatever kind of patterns. This is your opportunity to really start laying that groundwork. It is going to take, it's not happening overnight. It is a process. So it starts with figuring out what it is you want and holding that vision and saying, yeah, you know what? I am willing to let that go. Oh, gosh. You have nurture all you love. And I feel like this is, God, that's the light of the divine. This is nurturing yourself and loving yourself and letting your emotions flow. Oh, look at that. Okay. Every Gemini I know just cringed. I know you don't want to get into the emotional waters. My mother's birthday was actually on June 7th. And she really wasn't a big fan of getting all emotional about anything. I heard about it a lot because I do. But the thing is, in matters of the heart, it is the heart that should be leading. And this is allowing the emotions, see, they're falling into herself. So nurture yourself, love yourself, and you will attract the right kind of energy to you. Love yourself first. Love yourself completely. Love yourself warts and all, because if we didn't have warts, we wouldn't be human. Right? We really wouldn't be. So what brings you the joy? What brings you the pleasure? Take responsibility for creating that in your own life first, and then you can invite in and welcome in and allow other people in. And that's how you make your dreams real. That's how you start creating what it is that you're going for. It's by loving yourself, nurturing yourself, taking care of yourself, and understanding that you are being loved and supported by Spirit right now. You're not alone in this. You might feel like it. You might feel like you're out there on an island all by yourself, but you're not. You're being loved. You're being supported. People in your life are loving and supporting you, waiting for you just to ask for what you need so they can give it to you. Follow the signs and the synchronicities and pay attention to the resources that are available to you, So don't forget to do that. This is a time of self-empowerment. You have lilac. I just love lilac. It says strengthen your faith. And I want to say that strengthen your faith in yourself, your belief in yourself, your belief in the fact that, and look, see the little purple, that you can make your own dreams come true. You make your dreams come true by deciding what's important to you and what makes you happy and going for that. And when you're doing that, the right people, the right situations, they fall into line with you. It starts with you knowing where you want to go. I used to say to Spirit all the time, just tell me what to do and then I'll do it. And Spirit said, that's not how it works. You tell us what you want to create. And then you have faith that we'll be there to support you and get you there. So do that for yourself. All right, Gemini, I will see you back here next Monday. We will talk about the second half of Gemini season and what that means in your life. So I look forward to that. In the meantime, think about what you want and then be willing to give it to yourself because you can. All right, I will talk to you soon. You take care.